Welcome into Rick Renner, Texas High School Hysteria. Make sure you tune in to our weekly show on YouTube, Apple and Google Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Odyssey, or any of your favorite streaming platforms. Subscribe now and never miss an episode.
Oui, oui. Whoa!
Joining me now, the flamethrower. Ladies and gentlemen, the hardest throwing high school pitcher on earth, the pride of Round Rock High, Travis Sykora. How you doing there, buddy?
Doing great, Rick. Thanks for having me.
Seems like yesterday you were going to high school and now you're a graduate. Congratulations on all that.
Thank you. No, it feels great. And now I got the next step. So I'm excited.
You know, I think back to 2 years ago, you were an all-state caliber shortstop. When did you discover and how did that whole process go down that you could throw the ball 103 miles per hour?
I think junior year was my first year being a real starter. And I think going into that year is when I said, I'm gonna have to start putting 50-50 into hitting and pitching. And I did that, had a great year. And then the summer came and I was just a pitcher only. And then this spring, I got extended and as far as innings, and I had a great time, and definitely glad I made the switch because I love pitching.
I know when you were a shortstop, you were throwing it around and somebody put a radar gun on you and you thought, wow, I'm pretty close to getting to triple digits. At that point, did you think, well, maybe I could get to triple digits? How did that go down?
I don't know. Actually, I did have a Velo Jump sophomore year. I was a closer on the team, and we played Lake Travis. I think it was the third round, and I closed out a huge game, and I was up to 97. And that day I was like, I'm 3 miles an hour away. It's a bigger jump than it looks, but I think I'm closer than I was before. So I put the work in, and junior year, I hit the 100-mile-an-hour mark in the preseason, and then I've got up to 101, and that's been my best so far.
Wow. It's really incredible to see your big arm and in all the attention that you get. Was it an easy transition to go to be a pitcher when you knew that you could hit triple digits?
I've always pitched a little bit, like I said, just kind of closing. So it wasn't too stressful. It wasn't like a big switch, but I think the biggest thing was just learning to be a starter. Because, if I could go out there and close right now, I'd probably throw really hard because I could just let every pitch go as hard as I could. But being a pitcher, you gotta learn to, have the stamina to go 7 innings. So being able to pace yourself throughout the game, I learned that really this year, honestly, and it was an easy transition for sure.
Yeah, you look at playing shortstop and you're kind of like the quarterback out there. That's the center of attention. So did it make it an easier transition to become a big-time pitcher just because you had that pressure and was able to kind of handle those pressure situations?
It probably helped a little bit, when you're playing shortstop and you got a close game and there's you're in the last inning with bases loaded and you got to make a play, that can be pretty stressful. But I think it just comes back to being a competitor. Being a competitor, none of those things phase you. And I think that's one trait I have is big games, big crowds, big moments, high pressure situations. They all drive me they help me do better. So that could definitely be just the competitiveness.
That's an amazing thing that you're able to kind of feed off of that. I think about what a metamorphosis you have gone through with your body. We hear rumors that when you were a freshman, you were like 130 pounds soaking wet. And now look at you. You're 6'6", 230 pounds, and nothing but muscle and speed coming at everybody out there. Talk about the point that you realized nutrition would be huge in all this. How did you get so involved in that to make your body better?
First off, that was my mom. She's the one she looked at me one time when we were at a tournament and she said, Travis, you got to get bigger because these kids you're playing against, they're way bigger than you. And I think from that day on, my mom, she just researched a bunch. And this was about 8th grade going into freshman year. And I think freshman year is when we kind of figured out basically like our little formula, with the calories I got to intake at certain times and the smoothies and all that stuff. So she gets all the credit for that, but she's taught me everything. And now I feel like when I go to college, I'm going to be able to do all these things on my own and not have to worry about maybe having someone else cook my food or take care of my calories for me because I already know how. So um, that was huge, and without that, I don't think I would have been here.
Yeah, and boy, it's really paid off. Your mom, Jenny, has been a big part of this whole thing. I know the last 2 summers, you guys rented out an old farmhouse and you were training every single day during the summer while other kids are probably vacationing and going to the beach and going to Hawaii. You were working at your craft and getting better every single day. And I know you learned a lot of valuable lessons about nutrition and how to cook and how to support yourself. Talk about those days, the last 2 summers in that old farmhouse.
I mean, the past 2 summers, they've been the best summers of my life. So they've been awesome. I know the first time I went down there, I really didn't know what to expect. But I went down there and we went to our little blue farmhouse. And from that day on, it was just like, man, this is my place. And I remember not even wanting to come home when the summer was over. I wanted to stay there because all the coaches there at DST, and the baseball coaches and the trainers, those are by far the best people I've met in the baseball world. And to be down there and live the life at DST just made it great. And it was just me and my mom. Sometimes my brother and my dad, or my brothers, my dad, they'd come down there. But I met a lot of good friends too, my whole premier team, and some of my friends that I still talk to this day. I met them all down there.
So I understand you were making omelets on a George Foreman grill. Now, it didn't get too crazy where you were making grilled cheese sandwiches with an iron, right?
Yeah, no, it was we found ways to make do with what we had. So we had our Foreman grill, and that's basically my go-to meal cooker there. I'll just throw a steak on there real quick, and that's the easiest way to do it. But we were cooking omelets. My mom found a way to do that, and I mean they tasted the same because the ingredients were the same. And I thought it was pretty funny because we were in hotels out in Georgia just cooking nice meals on a George Foreman grill.
You got to love that George Foreman grill. This is not an ad for him, and he is not a sponsor, but you can't miss with it. It's funny because you think about most kids, they can barely make Pop-Tarts and cereal, kind of like me. From those lessons with your mom, I mean, it seems like you're more ready, for a professional baseball life than anybody.
For sure. I mean, that's how everything has been. My mom, she's been a huge part of everything, and she's taught me how to do things. And the whole goal is whenever I go to college, that I'm gonna have to learn how to do things on my own, because a lot of people go off. I mean, whether it's college, professional baseball, and they can't take care of themselves and they go in reverse. Well, I feel like I'm prepared whether I go either direction because I know how to take care of myself. And like I said, my mom deserves all that credit.
Now you're 6'6", probably 6'9" with hair, and you're still growing. You're so strong. How much do you use your size to your advantage on the hill?
I really don't think about it too much. I think sometimes it can help maybe intimidate the hitters a little bit, being up there, and especially when I'm ticked off, on the mound, it's a good way to really get in there and get in the hitters' heads. So that works. And then I'm sure getting down the mound farther helps a lot too. So.
Yeah, it almost seems like with some of the hitters that have gone up against you, I've heard them talk about it. It feels like you're 70 feet away. I mean, it feels like you're right on top of them. And then the steep angle from where it's coming at, it almost seems unhittable for them.
That too, I never really thought about that, but I'm sure that can help with the off-speed pitches too, for sure. Looks like it's gonna go downhill and then it drops even more. So that's a good point.
And it's such a heavy baseball coming out of your hand because it's got so much speed. You're an old school guy. I mean, people can make that comparison to the great Nolan Ryan with your leg kick, but you're also an old school guy in that you like to protect the inside of the plate. How has that come about for you? Because we don't see a lot of high school kids doing that.
Yeah, and last summer at the PDP League out in North Carolina, I remember my coach, Coach LaTroy Hawkins, he was there. And I remember going out to my third inning. My first 2 innings were dominant. I did really well. And I was mixing up fastballs, splitters, sliders. But he said, hey, when you go out this next inning, you're going to throw all fastballs and I'm going to call the pitches. So he called all fastballs. And we talked about how to make the fastball effective, you got to throw it inside. So obviously it can be effective throwing it down the middle. But if you can get to that next level by mixing up your fastball locations as well with the pitches. So I learned that there because I remember the first batter got a hit, but then the next guy broke his bat on an inside fastball and we got a double play. So to get 2 outs in one pitch is huge in the game with trying to make it late in the game.
Are there any guys that you like to emulate with your style? You seem to be your own guy, but there has to be some high school professional heroes for yourself.
For sure. I mean, Nolan Ryan, you got to think about him, just kind of the leg kick. I noticed that was a similarity, but the way he pitched on the mound aggressively, and he wasn't scared at all. And then the more modern day guy would be Sandy Alcantara. I've looked at kind of his spread or his pitch charts or locations and kind of where he's most effective at. And I've added a lot of that stuff to my game for sure.
Yeah, and it was fun watching that series with Austin Westlake and the Chaparrals in the regional quarterfinals. There was a moment, it really felt like a Nolan Ryan moment for you. I mean, they couldn't touch you. They couldn't get you. The only person that could get you was your own catcher who threw the ball back and hit you in the back. And yet you just shook it off like nothing ever happened. Did you guys have a good laugh about that?
We did. I mean, that was funny. You never really expect that during a throwdown, because I always get down low. I get really low. That way I don't have that issue. But I just felt something drill me in the back, and I was like, "Oh man!" But at first it kind of stung, but then I was like, "I'm not." Especially with these Westlake fans, I'm not gonna show emotion like I'm like it hurt or anything, and I use it to my advantage. And from that moment on, I think that was my third to last pitch of high school, so I got ticked off, and I said, "I'm going all in right here."
Oh, I love it. And those Chaparral fans, they definitely were noticing you out there. Now, nothing absolutely phases you out there. I think about that last district game that you pitched in to kind of finish off the undefeated season, and you had to weather it in a driving rainstorm. Your dad showed me a photo of you and how you're just focused and zeroed in. How have you been able to do that with all the attention and all the elements and everything you deal with? It doesn't seem like anything phases you.
Yeah, no, that was a good game. I remember the first inning I went out there and didn't have the best inning. I gave up a couple runs, and I remember I came back in the dugout and I said, I'm getting back to my normal self, because I pitch ticked off. That's really what I do. I'm real aggressive on the mound. And I said, this next inning right here, I'm going out there and I'm going back to the Travis that I remember. And I got super aggressive, and I went out there the second inning, dominated. Then I came out there, and I think it was the third or fourth, and the rain just started pouring, and everyone left the stands. And I think everyone was thinking I was going to step off, but I was trying to speed it up on the hitter. And I was like trying to go faster, and I did great through that rain. I mean, the ball got a little slick, but I tried to use it to my advantage.
Yeah, and I think about every time you pitch, it's an event, man. It's like a concert. You better get there early. I mean, sometimes we'll see scouts 10 people deep in the stands. Do you even see any of that stuff, or are you just so focused? And I get the sense that you really play off of all that attention and energy and use that to your advantage.
For sure. I know our first scrimmage this year, there had to have been about 35 scouts, and I'm not gonna lie, like that before that first pitch, I looked up there and I saw all the guns. But I mean, I was kind of used to it from the summer, because the summer there was probably even more scouts at some of those events. But I know the fact that they're there at the high school, just to see me pitch was pretty cool. So I took a moment to kind of look up there and look at it. But then for the rest of the season, it's just weird. Like, I remember asking my mom, like, were there even scouts there? Like, because you just don't even notice it because you're so locked in. And the only thing that was on my mind was just trying to mow down the other team. And you just kind of lose sight of all the distractions, and you get super locked in.
Yeah, and I think about your dad, who would have to kind of work his way through all those scouts to get in position so he could actually log your pitches and keep that diary going. Tell me about how you use that information from game to game.
Yeah, so we got a little spreadsheet at the house where it has each of my starts. It has each inning kind of has like the top slider velocity, fastball velocity, average fastball velocity, and then it has first pitch strike percentage, strike percentage. It doesn't have stats on there, but it's an important tool because, I mean, there's a lot of things you can pick up on. I know there's some games where you'll see there'd be one inning where I'd pitch, maybe be in the middle of the game, like the fourth inning, and I'd be like 93, 95. And then you could see like late in the game when I kind of got it back up to like 95, 97, I was more effective because I just kept that aggressiveness. And I try to stay away from those innings where I just kind of cruise 92, 95, or just nice and easy. And I try to stay like where I'm throwing the ball hard and not giving the hitters an advantage.
Your workout routine is legendary, and it's been documented. It's extremely amazing at your age and how you independently take this on and want to do all that. Take me through a regular routine in its average day for yourself.
Yeah, so I mean, every day is a little different, but just to kind of sum it up, I'll have 4 workouts a week. I'll do sprints 2 times, and I will throw every single day of the week. So, a normal day, I mean, I guess during the playoffs, Mondays are my bullpen days. So, I I get up in the morning. Every morning, I start the morning off stretching, and I've about a 30-minute routine where I do try to stretch my whole body, and then I go off to school. And then the first thing I do for baseball will be my bullpen. I get the bullpen done. After that, I go do my sprints, and then I come home, eat, fuel back up, and then go out in the garage. We have a nice garage gym set up, and I'll get my workout done in there. And then after that, I'll get my arm care done. So the bullpen days are usually my most busy. Some days it'll only be, I don't know, long toss and running and arm care, but every day is different, but throughout the week it stays consistent.
You talk about arm care, and most guys that throw the ball as hard and fast as you do on your level, they feel like they're fearless and they don't think about protecting their arm. You have always thought about protecting your arm. Why have you been able to do that?
I mean, it kind of starts off last year. I know a lot of guys were getting hurt, with elbow injuries and shoulder injuries. And last year when I started throwing harder, I was like, well, it's cool and all, but it doesn't last forever. You got to take care of your arm. So, I go to DST and I learned a ton of arm care things. And there's all the shoulder things. We do a lot of building the forearm to protect the elbow. All the credit goes to them because they gave me all the exercises. And then I'd say this past fall, when I wasn't training, I had my little 10 days off. I was doing a lot of research on kind of like the anatomy of the arm, the elbow, the forearm, the bicep, tricep, shoulder. And I looked deep into all those parts and try to learn like what I need to strengthen to keep certain parts healthy. And it feels good to go through the whole season healthy. Not many guys can do that, but with all the people I have in my circle, we were able to come up healthy.
It is always wild when you look at pictures of yourself throwing and you see where that arm is. It's always farther back than you think it is.
Yeah.
When you see those pictures, do you think all that stretching helps for you with that?
I don't stretch my arm too much, more just kind of my pec. But I mean, you do see the pictures of like the layback where like the elbow is leaning way back, and you see like kind of how I guess aggressive that movement is. So kind of like with DST, we do a lot of strengthening the shoulder just to be able to support that eccentric movement, and then obviously building up the forearm to protect the elbow.
You're such a rare breed in that, despite the fact that you throw so hard and so fast, you're in control. You're very efficient with your pitches, which is an amazing thing. And I know something the scouts like to talk about. How are you able to throw it so fast and yet be able to throw such a high percentage of strikes?
I think that comes back to playing shortstop at a young age. Being athletic is a huge part of what I do. I try to not get caught up too much in being a robot and doing the same movements over and over again. So just playing shortstop, being athletic, that's a huge part of it. So every time I throw, I try to be athletic and keep my arm moving the way my body wants to move and not force it into positions that may look better, I guess, mechanically, but my arm's going to naturally throw the way it should. And that's how it's going to stay safe.
You've had so many magical moments with your Round Rock Dragon teammates. One that really jumps out, you mentioned earlier when you guys upset #1 Lake Travis and the Cavs back in 2021. When you think about your teammates, how much have they meant to you and your maturation and being able to celebrate how great this team has been the last couple of years?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, they're all great kids, like after the season when it ended a week ago, you really think like, man, this is real, these were the guys I was with every day. And I think you can take it for granted, being with them throughout their 4 years of high school. But when it's over, you really think like, man, why is it Monday and I'm not training with them? Why are we not having baseball practice? And I miss all those memories we had, but they're all great dudes, and to be able to play with them was pretty special.
And what an unbelievable manager you have, and a legend, really, in John Carter. And he was a guy that bought into you protecting your arm from day one. What did you learn from the Texas Treasure?
Yeah, no, coach. I mean, like you said, he's a legend. He's a great coach, and to be able to have a coach like that who supports what I do is good. I mean, a lot of coaches probably with the pitch count stuff. I mean, like I said last year, I'd only throw 4 innings because it was my first year starting. And I'm sure deep down inside, he wanted me to go more, but he knew what was best for me. And he let me kind of stick to the pitch count. And then this year, I was obviously on a little pitch count, but there'd be a couple games, where I wanted to keep going because with all he's let me do, I thought it'd be special to give him a little extra.
Dragon Nation, I know, has been so supportive of you. How has the community shaped you into the young man that you are today?
I mean, it's humbling, kind of like with my dad being a firefighter, all the firefighter friends he has. I mean, I didn't even know how much support I had until after the season when my dad was telling me, all these certain guys from all the different stations around Round Rock were saying they had a great time watching me this year. And some of them would be at the station, just watching the game. And then all the neighbors, in my neighborhood, I didn't know a lot of them went, but I went and thanked them the other day for coming to the games because I mean, it's just special. Like you take the time to go watch the games is awesome. So around this, the community is awesome. So.
Yeah, you look at your dad, what a selfless human being. He's been a fireman for 24 years. And I know your brother Daniel is also a fireman, a third generation fireman. These guys have done huge things in the community and they do it selflessly. What have you learned the most from your dad and your brother?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of said the word being selfless, that's how my dad is. There's days in the season where if I can't find someone to throw with, he's putting a catcher's mask on and he's getting his catcher's mitt and I'm throwing long toss to him, I'm throwing it like he tells me, like he doesn't like being back there and he gets his hand hurt and stuff like that. But he tells me, don't hold back, because he's just that dad, he's supportive and like you said, he's selfless. And to be able to I have pictures of him, throwing with me and they're all great memories. And we were talking about it the other day, like him and I probably aren't going to throw much with each other ever again. So to be able to have that the past 4 years is special. And then same with my brother, him and I are always doing stuff together. I'm real close with him. We're always going fishing. He'd throw with me too in the summers. So they're both selfless people and I appreciate them both.
There's a great picture of you. I think it's around 11 years of age. You just started playing baseball and you're there in Austin outside of Dish Falk Field, dreaming about being a Longhorn. It's such a special picture. Why did you pick the Texas Longhorns to commit to and play baseball?
Yeah, no, I mean, first of all, it's always kind of been the school you grow up around. It's like the big school, it's University of Texas and it's a special place. And I know once I made the switch to be a full-time pitcher, that's when I said, I think Texas is a school that I need to go to, with the way they develop pitchers. And now with Coach Woody there, I'm super pumped to go there because he's probably my favorite, like one of the best pitching coaches I've ever met. And he's not only a great pitching coach, but he's a great human. And the way he lives his life with his strong faith with the Lord, we talk about it all the time. And I think it's important to have someone like that. So I'm super excited to be with him.
Yeah, and you look at it, we haven't seen a Texas high school pitcher drafted in the first round in 5 years. A lot of the scouts think you're the total package and you will be one of those guys. Where are you in the decision-making process? If you could put a percentage on it, whether or not you're going to go play college or go to minor league baseball, where are you?
I don't know. I mean, it's such an unknown. I mean, like the way I look at it right now is like all the training I'm putting in the summer, as I build back up, like I'm getting ready to go to pitch at the University of Texas in the fall. So that's my number one priority. And obviously you have the draft and like it's always been my goal to be a first rounder. So we'll see what happens, but right now my focus truly is to go to Texas and do what they've always done, which is dominate.
Well said. And you have been dominating. I think about some of the cool places that you've been able to go with this baseball career. Most recently in 2022, you got to pitch during the All-Star festivities at Dodger Stadium. Tell me about that experience. What was that like?
Just being there was cool. I mean, I never thought I'd get to pitch in Dodger Stadium, especially at such a young age. And it wasn't my best outing, but it was just to be there, like that was one of those places where it was just truly just amazing, going down in the clubhouse and the tunnels and seeing the jerseys. I know I got a picture of Jackie Robinson's jersey, which is pretty special if you ask me. I mean, not many people can see that in person, so that was pretty cool. And then just being in a stadium, you don't realize how big it is until you're on the mound and you look up and and the home plate with the catcher looks so far away because the stadium's just massive, and that was a cool experience, and the whole summer was great. Like I got to go to so many cool places.
Yeah, you think about some of the other All-Star Classics that you've been a part of, the PDP League, the area code games. You were named dominant pitcher in both of those. What did that mean to you when you're playing against some of the other All-Star talent all over the country, if not around the world, and you're able to be the most dominating pitchers? What does that do for you, just kind of justify all of your hard work?
I mean, it feels great, I mean, like I say, it's humbling, to be able to see all your hard work pay off and go to those events and dominate. It's awesome, especially with all the work that my circle puts in for me, and for me to go to those events and do what I did this summer. It feels great, and I still think back to them. But then again, you just being a competitor, like you just kind of know you belong up there, and you don't really think of yourself as just blending in, like just being the competitor I am. I just think that, like I was there to dominate. Like it wasn't like an accident. Like that was what I was supposed to do. So.
Yeah, you think about your trip to the Baseball Hall of Fame. How cool was that? What are some of the other cool baseball venues and places you've been able to go and see?
Yeah, the Hall of Fame was cool. I think I was 12 when I went there for the little Cooperstown tournament. So that was a special one. And I mean, I think area code is probably one of my favorites, but I know I also got to do like the PG All-American game, and that was pretty cool. Just the whole week, they made it pretty fun. And there's the Under Armour All-American game too. So those are all cool. Just to be in any MLB stadium, like you can't really top that anywhere else.
So well said. In the game of baseball, there's so much downtime. So, especially being a pitcher, there's probably even more of that. We hear a rumor that you're really good at card tricks. Are we going to see you on America's Got Talent anytime soon?
Oh, that's definitely my hidden talent. If you had to find one. I mean, I don't know. I think it's kind of a cool clubhouse thing to do. Just chilling in the locker room and just got nothing else to do. So some card tricks. So they're pretty fun, and I like the way they work. So I got a few good ones.
Everybody, when they talk about you, they talk about how organized you are, how detailed you are, and just how ready you are for the next stage. Where did that come from for you, and where is that drive to make that happen?
I don't know. I mean, I kind of think about it too. I think it ultimately led back to my dad. He's real schedule oriented. And at a young age, I remember he'd have me plan out my schedule when I was probably like 13, 14. We'd be planning out my schedule for the week, and he helped me plan it out, and then it just kind of became who I am. Now I just fill out my schedule every week during the season, even in the off season. Like I filled out kind of my next week now, what it's going to look like with getting back into training and everything. But I mean, also it goes back to being a competitor. You're super competitive, and you want to get every single advantage you can over who you compete against. So just trying to plan out my week and make everything make sense instead of just doing things for no random reason. Like I'd have a plan, and I think that's definitely what's led to some success.
So how do you want to be remembered when you come back to your 10-year class reunion there at Round Rock and Dragonland? How do you want to be remembered from the days that you were there?
I think it just goes back to a hard worker. I mean, a lot of people work hard, but I think to be able to show like the hours I put in, and I think that's just what I want to be known for, like the relentless, just wanting to get better, and kind of what we talked about, being super detailed with my planning, trying to get every way I can, doing everything I can to make my team win and to be the best player I can be. So just ultra competitor and ultra hard worker.
Travis, congratulations on all your success. We can't wait to see the next step for you. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you. It was fun.
Thanks for checking out Rick Renner, Texas High School Hysteria. Make sure you subscribe and never miss an episode. You can catch us on YouTube, Apple and Google Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, Pandora, and Odyssey, or any of your favorite streaming platforms. Tune in, and we will see you soon.